has been my new thing to start the show off with a nice deep breath.
It's always a good idea.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll let a few people pop on. Hello, everybody. My name is Sandy. Welcome to Rise Up Breathwork with myself and Matt Thomson. We are here at the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers, little tiny chapel nestled behind Irie Bliss Wellness across from Sacred Heart Church right in Weymouth Landing. We are a non-denominational benevolent charity that believes in the power of energy, vibration, and frequency to connect, to heal, to find peace in this crazy world that we live in. Our intention is to provide these free community classes, which we host here at 63 Washington Street, as well as stream on our YouTube and our Facebook page, to just show up for one another and to teach you that, healing doesn't happen necessarily in a yoga class. It doesn't necessarily happen in a bubble. It happens just in everyday life, and the little simple things that you do, you can create meaningful change. This week, in addition to Rise Up Breathwork with Matt, we will have our midweek reset with Anna, as always, at 1 o'clock here at the chapel. On Friday night, we have our integrated recovery practices group. And again, the recovery part of that is to just acknowledge that we're all recovering from something. You don't have to be recovering from anything in particular. It is an alcohol-free night to honor our friends in the recovery community. And what we are exploring this week is what it means to sit in circle. So we're having a full moon circle. You can actually find a blog about it on our website, pcsam.org. Sarah, our host for Friday, wrote a lovely blog just sort of talking about that ancient ritual of coming together and holding space for one another. And the theme for this full moon is going to be releasing what no longer serves us. So we're going to just kind of think about what we want to manifest for the rest of the year as we come into the holiday season, which is always such a busy time. I always feel like the time between Halloween and Thanksgiving goes like that, and then the next thing you know, it's Christmas. So we're starting to come into a time of year where the momentum is just really forward moving, and so we're going to take a moment to slow down and just come together and decide how we want the rest of this year to look, really. And on Saturday, we have DJ Steve Miller, and this is probably his seventh time taking to the altar. Of course, our service, the IRS loves programs and services. And so as a church, our main, sacrament is music. So I've made music our religion and all things that raise the vibration. And so we kind of worship vinyl DJs because we want to keep vinyl records alive, both to show our children that we honor artistry and music, and that that vibration and that form of art can live on forever after people pass, and we always want to honor that. So we're going to have DJ Steve Miller, and then the following Friday is going to be a new offering, which is going to be Feel the Beat of Your Birthright, brought to us by our member Aaron, who is going to teach us some basic hand drumming techniques, and we're going to have a little drum circle. So if you have a drum, BYOD, we will have a few here that we can provide for you, but we're looking forward to this because we haven't done this yet before. So our intention every Friday is members bring in a passion and share it with the community. So that's going to be our 2 weeks from, a week from Friday. So so full moon circle this Friday, drum circle next Friday, and of course you can see our full list of programs and events at pcsam.org. So how are you?
Yeah, and can I just put a thing in for that Wednesday?
Yeah.
What did you call it again?
Oh, it was going to be the vibe check.
Okay.
Midweek vibe check.
Yeah, so I was just going to start something new on Wednesday nights called the Midweek Vibe Check, and Sandy came up with I had one name, but I like the Vibe Check better. So thank you for that. And the idea of it is it's going to be a small group. It's going to be limited to 6 people, so just keep your eyes open on Facebook or Instagram. Should have something out by the end of this week. It'll be Wednesday nights at 7:30 to 8:30, or a little bit longer if needed. And it's mainly just to have a little bit of fun and just kind of reset the energy, do a little bit of breathing, maybe do a little bit of artwork or writing, but nothing intense for people. Just it's really meant for maybe if you're afraid or have fear about therapy or sessions or healing or just trying to change, because there can be just such an amazing fear, I think, around that. And so it's just really meant to just kind of come in and learn how to feel and maybe just express what you need to express, and we'll just kind of see where it goes.
And you're going to
So
have your singing bowls as part
yeah,
of
I'm gonna
that.
have like the singing bowls and all the other instruments that I have.
Some,
Yeah,
some,
so we'll
some
do
sound
some
healing.
sound healing would be the big part of it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's a
So
big intention for me with this church is, I remember when I embarked on my, healing journey or whatever, I
yeah,
remember asking Megan, like when she would be like, oh, do you want to come in for a healing? And I was like, I don't even really understand what that even
yeah,
means, like it can be very intimidating. I mean, I was super lucky that I just happened to walk into the New England School of Acupuncture at the age of
mm,
21 when I was faced with some debilitating fibroid pain, and Western medicine wanted to essentially just rip them out of me, and I knew the risks of potentially not being able to have children, or the idea that they would even grow back, and like, why would I put myself through this? And so I opened myself up to Eastern medicine, and I guess you would say alternative medicine, god, 25 years ago now, and it worked, but I was scared. I was scared to go
yeah,
have needles stuck in me. That wasn't something that I grew up knowing about, so this is definitely what we want to do here, is kind of destigmatize these methods for healing that, again, if you are from a marginalized community, the inner city, or you're from the woods of Maine like me, like there wasn't exactly a yoga studio on every corner. So,
yeah,
this is part of why
yeah,
we do what we do, because we want to make it approachable, we want to make it fun, we want to make it not so like, not so yeah, like I think like when you hear like let's do the work, it's like, what does that mean,
yeah,
right? So I was talking a lot with a friend about how lately a lot of my friends, they're like why, why is this war happening, or why would you have done that? It's really easy to even ask our kids like, why did you do that? And I'm trying to look and test like words and the vibration of words, and so I'm trying to replace the word why with try. So when you're feeling like why am I in this, like it's like, wait, let's shift gears, and instead let's try something new. Like if you know that what you're doing isn't working, and you're like, why do I feel this bad, why do I, why does this keep happening to me? So maybe you need to try something new. So this has been my theme, is switching from the vibration of why and worry to try, which I associate with like hope and change. So that's what I'm going to do today, is try to relax my nervous system, because I have had a heck of a week and month, lots going on. So I'm going to try, hopefully with all of you today, to find my peace. That's my
yeah.
intention.
I think you bringing that up, like what just came to me is, um, talking about music being the sacrament, and
Mm.
if we do like Wednesday nights as mainly like a sound healing, which is music, it's just a different form of music. But when we think of music, right, it like if it's music from our childhood or if it's something new that we're hearing, like it always brings about like this, like for the most part, some beautiful like memories or beautiful like feelings within us. And I think, you know, part of the reason why it's such a beautiful sacrament, because frequency, the sound frequency of music, whether it be singing bowls or an artist, um, can really change our vibration and really change our mood. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're saying to me like try and do something different, like what are we manifesting? Like we can use sound, we can use music to help us try something to maybe even shift us into a better mood. So maybe if you are struggling, maybe try to use music a little bit to, if there's something that you can listen to that's really uplifting. And then what can we do to change our energy? And I think also when we start, like, we do, like, we're manifesting the war. We're like, whatever we choose to manifest, like, there's many different wars going on. It's not just those two wars, there's more than that going on in the world. So, but really, what can we do? We can only really take care of our community, first of all, really. And then, but if we start manifesting and creating more love and more maybe authenticity within ourselves and more coming from the heart, like that's the world that we can start shifting into. We don't need to be helping program the negativity, to low vibrational stuff that's going on in this world, regardless of how painful it may be or the destruction that is occurring. But change, I mean, for me, it's got to come from within our vibration. What are we creating here? And then from here, it can start to spread out.
Yeah, I have
And
two thoughts about this, Matt.
Yeah.
And as music, I'm so glad you brought it
Yeah.
back to music as a sacrament, because I
Yeah.
do have my dear friend in heaven, Claire, and she left us with like 13 tracks of music. And
Right.
so, what an amazing gift to be able to keep her energy and vibration and
Yeah.
frequency alive by playing her music. And that will live on forever, right? And that is such a beautiful gift. And then the second thing that came to mind was I would use that tool all the time with my kids
Yeah.
when they were little. And if everybody was kind of chaotic, I would always play the song Good Day. We're gonna have a good day. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
gonna, and get them just like out of that like down or downward spiral back up into a higher vibe, just with like dancing
Yeah.
and making light of a situation and maybe laughing something off by listening to like a more silly or fun piece of music. So I love that music is our number one sacrament here, because again, it energy can't be destroyed, and it is one of the most powerful ways to change your mind, to change your attitude, to change your frequency.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for bringing your singing bowls today, because also these singing bowls are attuned to the frequency of our chakras. And our chakras become blocked when we have a hard time speaking our truth, or when we are hurt, or when we're in the state of fear or grief or sadness, loneliness. And so these singing bowls will actually help to sort of like realign our chakras. And some people talk about the kundalini, when all of your chakras are in alignment and you're actually just pure love. That's my favorite place to be. And these singing bowls get me there like really quickly. And so I'm grateful for this offering of vibration that you bring. And yeah, I appreciate you, Matt.
Yeah, no worries. My head just like spun around like in a whole circle.
I have that effect.
Yeah, I mean, because I had like a direction, but I was thinking maybe we could do something a little bit different today.
Okay, I love doing different.
Because you just brought something to, I mean, yeah. Okay. Well, I think like, so why don't we tune into our breath for a moment and just let everything go for a second. And whenever I say tune into your breath, just like really tracking, like just how does it feel to breathe? Like even try this, like if I start getting down, like I had like a challenging week last week a little bit, still a little bit challenging. And so instead of going into despair, I caught myself whenever I started to maybe feel like a little bit of depression or anger or frustration or whatever. My motto for last week and through this week so far has been to raise the corner of my lips, which we've done before, and just to bring that like lights, even if it's like a really just a little, the smallest smile that you could ever imagine. And then when you raise the lips, the invitation here is to breathe into the sensation of that little smile. So I'll just invite you to try that for a moment. Just to feel into the smile. Maybe to feel how the muscles change around the jaw, the cheeks. Maybe even going into the sensation of, does the tongue move slightly? And for me, this little thing like kept me in good spirits. It like lifted me immediately out of me sinking into a hole that I don't want to fall into.
Well, everything's connected. I think by smiling, you actually release serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. You're kind of like, I always used to say this to my clients: smile like you know a secret.
Yeah.
Smile like you know a good secret, and just that look on your face, you know, that look on your face when you have like a good secret?
Yeah.
Like that's the smile that I want to try to project, like when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Just smile. Like
Yeah.
you know a secret that they don't know, and the secret is just be happy.
And that is, you know, it's changing our frequency and it's changing our energy that we're putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, if we start to, so that'll be one invitation as we shift through this week for everyone, is to maybe just lift the corners of your lips up. And whenever you're feeling like you're going somewhere that you don't really want to go, and then to maybe discover, I'm just going to share like a part of like my routine in the morning. And a part of my routine in the morning is to align my system through movement and breathing. And so, and what that helps me to do is to stand and to discover more me standing in my more truth or my authentic self. And I think vibrationally, as we learn to discover, like, what is my truth? Like, who am I really? Like, when I can speak my truth or come from my actions are more authentic with who I'm really designed and meant to be on this journey. And I think that for me, that frequency, that vibration is probably the only one that's higher than the heart frequency. Because I think like the heart, like if we're not in our authentic, truer self or working towards that or trying, then how much can we really be from the heart?
I totally feel that.
And so
sometimes the truth is hard. Sometimes the truth is real hard, and the truth always comes out.
But it can just be like, who am I really meant to be? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like the truth of like who I was in the past.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the truth of my addiction stuff or anger or how I used to be mean to people or whatever it was. It can just be like, what's my truth? Like, what am I really like meant to do from this point forward, or why did I come here, or just standing in my power and being more compassionate, caring, maybe almost becoming like the king or the queen of my throne.
I love that.
And really sitting up on top and feeling like aligned. So I'm just going to invite everyone to stand up. And we'll just do some small movements. I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit so that you can see me. Yeah, that's beautiful. Brilliant idea.
How did I do that
Brilliant.
so quickly? If I could just make it straight.
How you did that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was brilliant. All right, so, and then how do I adjust this to go up a little bit?
Oh, sorry, here. This part.
Okay.
Oops. Sorry, guys. Oh, Barbara's there. Hi, Barbara.
Okay. So this is just a little bit of what I do in the morning to help start my day and to kind of put myself into alignment. And this is these movements are the invitation here is to discover just how much is safe for you to move, and these are not any crazy movements. They're nothing too much, and so I'm just going to invite you for a moment to just stand with your palms out, to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, breathing into the stomach, and just taking a moment to drop into your breath for a moment, to stand tall. If you're not able to stand, you can do this sitting. And the invitation is the same thing, to sit up nice and straight in your chair, get the spine in nice, straight alignment. sound to just bring you a little bit deeper into how you're feeling through the breath. Allowing for this breath to just bring the system down a little bit, relax. And now on your next inhale, I just invite that you really draw in as much air as you can and hold at the top. And when you hold, I'm just going to invite that you hold for as long as you can. Relax into the breath hold. Relax the face. Don't tense up your body, but just relax the body into the hold. And then just dropping into how are you feeling on that exhale. Just drop into the body. And just check in with how you're feeling. And now I'm just going to invite that as you're standing or sitting, just to lightly listen to your body and just see how it needs to move for a moment. And in this movement, allowing for you to be here as your whole person, to allow for yourself to be in spaciousness and to create space around you, and to know that all of you is allowed to be here. All of your emotions, all of your feelings, all of your thoughts, as we just allow for this breath just to bring us into alignment. And so a part of what my practice in the morning is to, and this is to help align my system, to start the day in alignment, and to come more actually from my truth. So if I'm finding this alignment within my system, I find that it also helps me to be more of my authentic self, to be more of that like king sitting on the throne in control of who I am, and um, and having that power to maintain a beautiful day and stand in my power and my alignment. And so the first movement that I do is basically I stretch my arms up above my head like so. And then you just squat down as low as you can, drawing the arms down, the elbows by the waist and behind you. And then when you come up, stretch back up. And then we just drop the arms down and then come out like a cross. Come back down and then stretch back up for one. And then as you do this, the invitation here is just to tune into the nose-mouth breath and to try and maintain that. So I usually like breathe in, breathe out, breathe back in, out, back in, but just find your own pattern. So we'll do this 10 times. And you want to get a little bit of an arch in the back as you come all the way up. I even arch on the cross part when you're doing the cross part. Just go ahead and keep doing it. Here you're drawing the shoulders back, you're expanding the chest, you're expanding that heart space. And we're also really moving the spinal cord and really kind of shifting it and kind of getting it into alignment for the day. And this is also a technique to help with being grounded and stable. And don't fight with the breath. Just have the awareness of breathing correctly. And wherever you fall into your patterns, that's fine. And then when you're done, just to put the palms back out and to stand still. And I'm just kind of going off Sandy where she's at. And then just take a moment and maybe wiggle or shake a little bit. Because this is shifting our energy too of anything that might be blocked. If we're feeling closed in and, this just to move the energy. So that's the first movement. Now that was the hardest one. So the next three are actually really simple. So the second one is going to be really adding in. I'm going to try and bring this down a little bit. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this. So I'm just going to circle the body like this around. Yeah, that's good, Sandy. And so here I'm going to exhale as I start. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to inhale as I start. Now, when I rotate, I'm going to try and move the hips, the back, come behind me. Exhale. Inhale. When I try and do it loud, it's hard. And that's really trying to draw myself forward and drawing myself back. And again, when I just did 10 there, so we do 10 again with this, and then to stand for a moment and just let that settle in and just feel into how is your body beginning to change. Can you feel different sensations coming alive within your systems, within the energies of your body? The third one is basically on the inhale, I'm going to draw the shoulders back, stick the chest way out, stick the stomach out, get as much of an arch as you can. And then on the exhale, I'm going to close it all up, push it all forward. So it's again, we're doing 10. And then when you finish, just again, stand and just begin to feel maybe even a deeper alignment within your system. And the last one is we're just going to place our hands on top of our shoulders, elbows up, in alignment with the shoulder, like that. And we're just going to twist to the right, turning your head as far as you can behind you, and then to the left. So it's going to be like inhale, exhale, and again 10. And really feeling the rotation of the spinal cord, the body. Because what we're doing here, remember, is really we're getting the spinal cord into alignment with the energy centers. When we think of the chakras or the energy centers, it's really about discovering the alignment through the spine. And then again, when you're complete, I'll just invite you to palms out. Now, pretty much all these movements you can do even from a sitting position as well too. The first one you might, you can still do sitting as well too. The first one, just now that you can see my body a little bit better, again, was this arch coming down into the squat as far as you can, and then out, just so you can just see that once. And then again, it's just about finding, what's comfortable for your body. And now maybe just add some more wiggle movements. Because a lot of times we feel like as we're stepping into like who we are, stepping into our power. And we talk so much about bringing the breath in, which is so beautiful and so important. But movement as well is, this is why yoga is so beautiful, and doing practices like this. This is what I just took you through is a Kundalini movement exercise specific for alignment of the energy systems. And there's another one that I also do, but I'm not going to do it on camera. I don't want anyone to get hurt. So it's a little bit. It makes you a little bit dizzy. But there's a lot of different movements. So I'm just going to invite you to let's just stay standing or sitting up straight in your chair. And what I'm going to invite here is to palms out again, and to fall into an inhale through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And I'm going to invite a little dance with the breath here for a moment. And so what I'm going to invite you to do is to do 2 inhales into the stomach for part 1. Part 2 is draw it up into the chest, shoulders back, drawing it all the way up into the mind or into the brain, and then exhale. And on the exhale, to try to push everything out and drawing the belly button as close to the spinal cord as you can. So this is taking the breath a little bit deeper than what I normally do with the nose and the mouth. So it's kind of like in the stomach, drawing everything back, and then exhaling. And focus on pushing, really pushing the belly button to the spine. And so you might make a funny movement. It's going to feel really weird. And so I'm just going to invite you just to fall into this breath for a moment. And as you're falling into this breath, to really feel this alignment within your system. Trying something different, as Sandy was saying in the beginning. What can we work on? What can we try that's maybe a little bit different with our day? Maybe to explore beginning our day this way instead of going for making a cup of coffee right away. Maybe even trying this with the kids, just adding in some slight movement as you start the day and set an intention for your day of standing in your truth, standing up strong for yourself in alignment, imagining that you are the king or the queen of your universe. Remembering that we create, whatever we create, we're going to see that creation all around us. We're going to see it within the people around us. Because whatever we're creating, the people around us are just mirror images of ourselves. So it's either they're reminding us of who we were at one time and showing us our growth, or they're showing us exactly where we are right now. And so I tend to see more people who are happy these days, or just, you know, this where I go swim and kind of do some morning exercises. Like the people who, like, I have like these people out of nowhere just come start talking to me, and it's never about like the people who are sitting there talking about yesterday's football game or the World Series or whatever's going on. Like those conversations never come to me. I get all the conversations of, like, I had a guy. What day is today? Tuesday. On Sunday morning, I had a guy come up to me out of nowhere. I'm doing this exercise, and he's huge dude, like this massive 6'7" guy, looked like Shaquille O'Neal probably. I mean, just massive. And he comes up to me, and he's just like, I'm really struggling with my breathing, with the exercise, and I'm starting to do yoga. And that's how he like started the conversation with me. He just came up and said that out of nowhere. But it's that energy, like whatever I'm creating for self, like I attract that, and that was a perfect example of an attraction where he just felt drawn to me to say that. And then we got into this like beautiful talk about the breathing, and I showed him what to do to help him out with yoga and with exercising and just life in general. So we ended up having like this 20-minute talk and learning how to breathe, and it was really beautiful. And then he kind of looked at me as we parted ways. He's like, "Do you mind if I keep coming over to you to pick your brain when I see you?" I'm like, "No, absolutely." But that's the beauty. We all of a sudden, like, our creation within our energy, within our system, really paints the picture of what we're attracting towards who we are in our day and how people are going to respond to us, how people may speak to us. So just breathe all this in for a moment. And just maybe envision yourself standing tall. Maybe envision being in alignment. Maybe bring in that little smile and breathe into that. Maybe bring that smile into your heart. And so when we can begin to explore and discover how we can manipulate, how we can paint a picture, how we can create our energy of how we feel. This is all about creating. And then if we're going to try to do something maybe new, or if you do have children, kids are different because they're kids, and and it's about them expressing themselves. And so I think part of what Sandy was talking about, what's coming to me right now, is like, instead of like, why did you do that, or I feel like if it's like, why did you just do that, or why did I just do that, I can be to self or to others or our children. And I feel like why, like the way we usually say that, like the tonality of our voice causes this collapse in our system. It causes us to maybe close in. But if we can create more space through our movement, through our breath, and be more open, then we're creating spaciousness, not only for myself, but maybe for our children or our spouse or co-workers, like to create space and allow for them to be who they are, that allowance of, and if we do need to ask, questions of maybe a behavior or an action, like Sandy was saying, maybe we can approach it in a more open, balanced, standing in our power of truth, but then allowing for the other individual to have their space and to maybe just find beautiful ways to converse. Well, if that wasn't working for you today, maybe we could try something different. And to not create our children or family members to collapse in and feel threatened, because when we collapse into ourselves, and you can see it in the body language, closing in, shoulders drawn in, chest maybe in, head down, like our how we view and look at body language, posture, it tells us everything. Facial, it tells us where a person's at. I don't even need people to really say any words. I can probably just read so much just from your body language. And so these movements today are a way to align our energy systems or chakras, to maybe help us start a day that's a little bit more in alignment, bringing in the breath, and then a way to help us discover maybe standing up tall for ourselves in alignment and being within that power of ourselves to create the picture that we desire for the day or for each moment. Because if I'm painting that picture of whining and complaining, then I'm going to attract people who are whining and complaining. If I'm painting a picture of beauty and compassion and love and just joy, I'm going to attract those people into my life. And so just think of yourself as an artist, the creation of your own worlds within you of how you feel. Remember, as you move through this week, to crack that little smile. If things start going down, you start collapsing in, crack open that smile just a little bit. Even this, no matter how hard it is to smile, we can at least raise the corner of the lips if it's something really difficult, and just to feel into that a little bit deeper. Because if we can start creating this as a world, then all the other stuff that is stress and not pleasant, like slowly we're going to shift away from that world. But we need to start being in stronger numbers and creating this energy. And if we can start that in our house, in our communities, and then the world will slowly begin to change. It's changing, but it's going to take time, and this is part of what changes our world and everything around us. Yeah. How are you feeling now, Sandy?
Oh my God. I just want to say, like, amen.
Right, let me hang this up for a second.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, spelling, right? Like, words cast spells. And a funny, my daddy is my greatest teacher. For anybody that knows him, he was a truck driver when I was a little kid before he owned his restaurant.
Yeah.
And his CB handle was one happy guy. So literally, when I would ride in the truck with him, I was like sunshine and coconuts, and I loved that idea that you're so right. Like, I was brought up in the vibration of literally happy and lucky, like happy and lucky. Like, my dad would always say, oh, I'm so lucky, I'm one happy guy. Look at I'm so lucky, I have this beautiful family. So I think, like, I was raised in that vibration of happy and lucky, which is why I've largely been like a happy person, like for the most part. I mean, we all struggle, right? But I do go back to my dad might be a Buddha and he just doesn't know it. My dad's a Buddha biker. Because like a lot of, we call them Rickisms, and I love my dad. I don't know if he's watching, but like he always just kind of has like told me that I have a keen sense of the obvious, which I think is like what you're talking about, how like I can read people, I can tell when somebody's having a hard time or a bad day without them even speaking to me. And at first I thought it was like an insult. Like he was like, but it's not an insult, because some people don't have a keen sense of the obvious. So, I thank my family, and my mom taught me how to pray, and my dad taught me how to be happy. And for that, I'm ever grateful. So thanks, Rick and Joe up there in Maine, for making me and helping me, be free. And that's my job here at the church is, I'm taking back that word witch. And I'm thinking that back in the day, the women that were, the whole thing is like the people that were free, to express, the people that were making art and music and making love and had passion, they were a threat. But I'm here to teach you that it's worth it to fight to be free. I'm like, now I'm turning it into a Tom Petty song.
Well, I think
everybody's had to fight to be free, but it's worth it. It's worth the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's either we're falling into the system of frustration, anger, and judgment and division and all this stuff that just doesn't make sense. And it just doesn't, like, nowadays to me, because I've lived there for so long, it just, like, I just don't even like the way that feels anymore.
Right.
And it's just like, I want for myself first to just create a more beautiful existence. And then if I'm fortunate enough to be able to help someone else start to see or feel a little bit differently, then that's beautiful. And that's just a gift. But really, even me trying to work with people and doing this, it's really, first, it's for myself. And then secondly, I hope that it reaches out to people so that maybe they start to ask questions and start to explore, start to wonder, start to try something that's just maybe, like, because it doesn't need to be scary.
No.
Like, we can just and that's why I'm going to start that Wednesday night group. It's like, let's just come in and relax and let's just free our system up a little bit and have a little bit of fun.
Just try to have some fun, people. Those are my final words for today. Thank you, Matt. This is exactly what I needed. I think these conversations need to happen more often, because we can get stuck in the muck, and there's a lot, of course, that we could focus on that does suck. But look on the bright side. You can try something new, and every day is a chance to write your script again. You're the actor in your own play, and you have a chance to change all the time. So
crack that little smile.
Don't forget to smile. Love you, Mom and Dad.